Hey everybody, it's Emily at Arc Schooling, and today I want to talk about adaptations I wish were a thing. There's been a lot of announcements lately about things that are being adapted, and I just feel like so many of my favorites aren't getting adapted. And I was talking to my kids about it the other day, and I was like running off a list of things that I wish would be adapted, so that's what we're gonna do today. I thought, you know what, let's talk about this. Let me make a video. And it's gorgeous out, so I'm outside, and the birds are loud, there's a bee that keeps coming near me, my dogs are barking at the door. It's a lot, but I'm gonna try because it's too pretty outside today. Let's just get right into this video. So these are things that I think should be adapted because I think they would make amazing either movies or television. So first up, I have to start with Neil Shusterman. Of course, he has two things that I think would be amazing if they were adapted. And I know you know already what I'm gonna say first, and that is the Ark of the Scythe series, which is just like made to be filmed. What I think should happen is that we should have like 3 seasons, maybe 4, of like 10 hour-long episodes. And so like each book would get a season. Perhaps The Toll needs 2 seasons to do it justice. I don't know. But like, don't you guys think it would be amazing filmed? Like, I just think, why has this not happened yet? Why has no one done this? It's so perfect to adapt. Like, I want to see all of these sides in action. I want to see Rowan and Citra and their relationship blooming. I want to see it all. I want to see how they would have the Thunderhead speaking to everybody. Like, I want to see it. Let's make it happen. And his other book that I think, or series that I think should be adapted, is Unwind. But I haven't finished it, so I haven't read all of the books in the series, but like I've read the first 2.5, and I think it would work. I think it could be a really interesting like prequel to the Ark of the Scythe, because I still believe those stories are connected, like timeline wise, like they're in the same universe, but Unwind came before, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Neil Shusterman's got a lot of great stuff, and I feel like those are his best, and they would be the best adaptations. Hollywood, make it happen. Okay, next is another one that I'm like, why has no one done this yet? Because to me, it seems too obvious, like it should have already been made into a thing. Maybe it's optioned and it just hasn't happened yet. But that is Hank Green's duology, you know, an absolutely remarkable thing and a beautifully foolish endeavor. Like, how perfect are these to be filmed? Like, they're epics. And I feel like they would be really great. And my kids argued that these should be animated, but my only caveat for this is that Andy must be played by Hank. Like, to me, Andy is Hank. They're the same person. Like, he's his self-insert character. So it only makes sense to me that, like, this would only work if that were Hank Green playing himself, essentially, I guess. I don't know. But like, I feel like they would be really great. They could also be animated. I can see where my kids are going with that. Like, I can picture it. But like I said, I don't care. Either way, Hank could be the voice actor if you wanted to go that route. But I just think the whole thing would be really great filmed. Like, they're so cinematic, you know? Now, my next one has already gotten an adaptation, but it was terrible. And I want a do-over, and I want it done right. And that is the Chaos Walking trilogy by Patrick Ness. I just don't think you can do this justice, filming it live action and putting it in a movie like they did. They did one movie, and it was not great. Like, it had a good cast. Like, they had everything going for it, except for the fact that this book is not something you can film live action and have it work. I believe you have to animate this, and I think it would do so much better if it were a series and not a movie. Or at the very least, like a movie per book, maybe. But even that, I don't know. I think it would be better if it were animated. And if it were like another like 10 to 12 episode per book series, you know? Because there's just so much happening. There's so many characters. There's so much going on. And then on top of all of that, you have the noise, which like, they tried. They tried. I won't fault them for the effort that they made for the movie, but it was not good. And they didn't have the talking dog. Like, you have to have Manchi talking. I'm sorry. It doesn't work otherwise. The whole thing kind of hinges for me on those details, and they didn't get the details right, and it just didn't end up working for me. So it's still one of my all-time favorite trilogies, and I just think it deserves a better adaptation. So I really want someone to make it happen. This next one is going back a bit. Like, it's not a newer book, but it's one that I feel, and I've always felt, would be so great adapted, and that is the Wolf by Wolf duology by Ryan Groudon. I read this like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It's been a little while, but I still think about it regularly. It's like a really great story. This is an alternate history story. We have like the whole what if the Axis powers won World War II, and you're following this girl, Yael, who is a survivor from the camps. She was Jewish, and she's like one of the only survivors, because if they won, and there's not really anybody left. And so she has this like supernatural ability to shapeshift that she was experimented on when she was in the camps. And there's this whole motorcycle race across the territory that Germany won and that Japan won and all of that. So like there's this big epic race. There's this whole like covert like spy ring thing going. It's great. So good. There's a little bit of a romance happening. Like, it's like a really great duology. I feel like it would be so freaking good adapted. It would be great, and I really want to see it. I want to watch it so bad. Like, I just think it would be so fun to see all these characters and all the action and all of there's just absolute like chaotic stuff happening. I want to watch it in a movie. Like, I do think you could do this as a movie. I think it could be 2 movies, maybe 3 if you wanted to like split up the story into thirds, because it is just 2 books. But like, I just think it would be great, and it would work so well. So I really think Hollywood should take note and consider making this a film. I want to see the Binti Trilogy by Nnedi Okorafor filmed in some way. Again, this has to be animated. I don't think you could do it live action. Like, even with all the CGI, I don't think it would work. I feel like this almost has to be animated, but it would be so beautiful to look at. Like, Nnedi Okorafor, if you've never read any of her books, you're missing out. Like, I've only read the Binti's trilogy, and I'm currently reading Akata Witch, and her books are brilliant. Like, the world building. She is just amazing at world building. And her worlds are so intricate and just like amazing. And Binti is so atmospheric. It's all about the world building. It's all about like this intricate, layered world that she's created for these characters to live in. And I want to see it so bad. I just feel like it would be an epic series, and like animated only. Like, don't even try. I don't think you could even attempt it live action. But can you just imagine how beautiful the animation would be? Ugh. Next up is one that I actually think has been optioned and might actually be a thing, according to Sarah. Maybe she's right. I haven't heard anything. But that is the Wayward Children series by Shauna McGuire. I think this would be just super fun to have like an anthology series, or to have like, I don't know, a book a season. I don't even know how to do it, but I want to see it. I want to watch this. I want to see these characters. I want to go to their worlds. And I want to visually see it. Like, I love this series. It's beautiful. Like, the writing is great. The characters are all so just fascinating, but the worlds Like, I've always been a fan of portal fiction, and this is one of the best portal fiction series that I've ever read, and I just think it deserves an adaptation. Like, I think the world, again, the world building is so great in this because the portal worlds in the series are so interesting. Like, I think a lot of portal fiction gets stale because they're like recycling the same kind of fantasy world over and over and over, and I love that Shauna McGuire doesn't do that. Like, all of the worlds are really different and interesting, and places that I would have never like thought of as portal worlds, like the moors. Oh, I want to see. Oh my God, can you imagine how epic that season would be or that movie? I want to see the moors. I think that would be amazing. Like, just for Jack and Jill and the moors, I'm on board, but like the whole of it would be amazing. This next one is a bit of a like silly one, but I just think, why not? And that is the In Every Generation trilogy. I believe it's going to be a trilogy. There's only 2 books out right now, but I want to say it's meant to be a trilogy, and that's by Kendar Blake. And oh my gosh, okay, so hear me out. This is a Buffy reboot kind of a thing. So listen, like, this is what I'm thinking. Okay. So we're jumping ahead in time. We're current day-ish. I want to say this takes place like 15 years or so. Is it 15 or 16? I can't remember how old Frankie is. But I want to say we're like 15 to 16 years post the end of season 7 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So we've aged up Willow. She has a daughter. We have Oz. Current day Oz. Okay? So picture it. Picture Allison Hannigan and picture Seth Green. So you have these 2 characters, current day-ish, all right? And we have Spike, but hold up, listen, I know your first thought is Spike's a vampire, and he shouldn't age, and clearly James Marsters has aged, sure. However, the way that they wrote this book, the way that Kendar Blake has set this up, it could work, because she ages up Spike to make him a watcher and make him look believable as a watcher. So instead of looking like he's eternally 20 years old, now he looks like Giles. It would work. Like, oh my God. As I was reading this book, I almost squealed with the fact that you could film this today with the same cast. And it would work. It would work. I need it. I need this. Like, I want it so bad. I haven't read the second book yet. I have it. I haven't gotten to it. I'm like saving it for, I don't know why, but I should just pick it up. But like, can you just imagine how fabulous this would be? Like, I know James would be on board. Like, I know James would do it in a second. We'd love to take that on. I don't know if Allison Hannigan would, or Seth Green. I kind of hope that they would be on board. If we don't get them, I don't know. It kind of has to be original cast, but I think you could convince them. I think they could be convinced. Anyway, my last one that I want to talk about today, I've got 100 of these, like seriously, I think every book should be adapted. I love watching my favorite stories, even if they don't come out exactly right. I love to see it anyway. I love to see the attempt. My final one that I'm going to throw out there today that I think would be epic is I want a Discworld, you know, the Terry Pratchett Discworld series. I want a Discworld anthology series. Think Good Omens and what they did with that, but make it Discworld. And like, it doesn't have to be each book gets its own story. It could just be like within the world of Discworld. And we get to see like different elements of the story. Like, I know they've adapted different parts of it. And I've seen some of them and they're fine. But like, wouldn't this be like a Game of Thrones kind of a thing? Like, I want big, epic, like cross between Doctor Who and Game of Thrones and like make a Discworld. I don't know how they do it, but like, I want it, and I think it would work, and I think it would be amazing and super popular. Like, there's a huge fan following, and even if you've never read it before, like, I still haven't read most of it. There's so many books, and I haven't read all of them yet. I think this is one of those series that, like, just like Game of Thrones, you didn't have to read the books to enjoy the show. I don't think you'd have to read the books to enjoy Discworld, because it doesn't have to be the books. It could just be parts of the books and like characters from the books and like bits and pieces, but like in a new anthology. Like, I just want Discworld content. So anyway, those are the things that I want to see adapted. There are so many like stories that just get told over and over and over. There's so much new content. There's so many stories that we haven't seen yet, and I want them. I want them all. So let me know down below in the comments, what is a book that you think would make an amazing adaptation? Let me know and we can chat about it. If you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Happy reading. Bye.